Hello everyone, this is GalacticusX virtual avatar. He told me to tell you that he's so burnt out from work and so annoyed by the persistent heat wave and humidity, that he wouldn't even attempt to narrate a video. Okay, yesterday I was searching for some information on budget laptops, because I need a replacement to my underpowered machine that I use for my job, and I came across a couple of videos that are so remarkably different and yet equally as lame that I thought I would say a few words about it. So, the first one was by PC World, and it's about the latest Microsoft Surface Go, their latest iteration of Microsoft Surface tablet, which is more budget-oriented, smaller and underpowered than the previous premium models. Enter the host of the 5-minute video, a middle-aged guy with gray hair, gray beard, wrinkled shirt. He looked like a mess. I can tell, because I look like him and I don't want to be looking at my reflection when I watch a video on YouTube. I want to be looking at something or someone more pleasant, a little more compelling, on the visual side. Optics aside, the review, and I'm air quoting right now, the review of this fellow was an incredibly half-assed word salad of how much this new machine feels more speedy than equivalent models from other vendors and how much more it feels easier and natural to perform everyday tasks in this machine than its predecessors, and how nimble and fast is the integrated Edge browser and why it's no big deal that it runs the latest abomination of Microsoft operating system, the Windows 10s, the incredibly lame version that doesn't allow you to install your own programs except from those available in Windows Store. And I'm looking at this guy, and I'm thinking to myself, my God, how the mighty have fallen. The once glorious PC World, the leading IT publication, is now irrelevant in the age of YouTube and social media. I mean, how can they expect to reach a wide audience with this kind of crap? Who's this guy? What did he just tell us? Did he tell us anything useful about the product in question in these 5 minutes? Is he paid for this kind of crap? With actual, real money? I mean, go and check out Austin Evans' video on the Microsoft Surface Go, which has just come up. It blows the old guy right out of the water. PC World, what were you thinking? And then I looked at the 83K sub count and thought, well, Linus Tech Tips won't be shaking in his boots after this kind of pathetic, sleep-inducing, uninformative, lazy, laughable piece of content. And then I went to Linus, and this is the other side of the coin, when the obfuscation of production and the verbal diarrhea leads to the exact same disappointing result, albeit from the other direction. So, the title of Linus' video was "Are You a Cheap-Ass Gamer?" with the usual goofy Linus face on the thumbnail. Clickbait, yes, but by now we're used to asinine clickbait titles, not only from Linus, it's a common theme nowadays. So, I'm watching what's essentially a hands-on review on the Dell G3 gaming laptop, which costs from around $800, and for that price it offers an 8th Gen Core i5, a NVIDIA GTX 1050 Ti, 1 TB of storage, full HD 15-inch display, full keyboard with numerical pad and backlit keys, and an all-around decent array of expansion ports. The whole presentation is a sketch, involving about half a dozen of Linus' team. Linus talks and talks and talks on the background, while his colleagues enact the segments of his script, showing the pros and cons of the laptop supposedly in real-life scenarios. At $800, the laptop in question by Dell is a powerhouse. It may be compromised in build quality, due to its low cost, but it's perfectly okay for any kind of work. But you see, Linus is not your typical user, and he wants to teach you a lesson. You can't be socially acceptable and cool if you don't rock the latest and greatest tech. Your identity and indeed your own existence depend on the thinness of your laptop slate, the quality of its brushed aluminum unibody, the teraflops of its multi-core behemoth of processor, and the cornucopia of cutting-edge technologies that are crammed in a millimeter-thin slice of silicon. Although in this video we get a lot more information in a more hippie and interesting way than the old guy from PC World, at the end of the day, the result is the same, as in many Linus snippets, the guy just craps all over the product in question. But when Linus does it, he does it with gusto, he does it with flair, He takes a seemingly balanced and nuanced approach, but you can smell the odious stench of derision and elitism form beneath the crust. So, yeah, the Dell G3 is for you, pathetic plebe, poor college boy who work as an intern for a much more successful businessman, YouTube celebrity, and tech-savvy extraordinaire internet sensation that is Linus. $800 just ain't gonna cut it, and if you don't play Fortnite in a 4K 144Hz display, you're just not a part of our cool little nerdy collective. Of course, Linus doesn't need you, he has your sub, in fact he already has 6.5 million of them. So, for all the salty comments from a random morbidly obese asshole like me and other poor saps just like me, the fact remains that Linus is tremendously successful, and that's what matters. Whether I follow his channel from now on, is a different story, and is of little to absolutely no consequence. Okay, so far, I think I have established, at least in my own mind, how useless and unproductive can a piece of content be on social media, especially in video format, whether it has too little, or too high effort put in it. I said I had 2 videos in mind at the beginning, but stay a little more with me, for another one that just popped into my mind. Now, for a third and final example, I'd like to mention another video I stumbled across, by accident as it appeared in my recommended list. So, there's this guy who makes these long rants, who likes to rumble on and make these really well researched, crafted, scripted and, honestly, very well presented videos on all sorts of matters, ranging from technology to politics, history, socioeconomics, you name it. The video in question was about 4K and, in the opinion of this guy, just how useless and pointless 4K displays are, at least to the public. The guy just goes on and on and on, making historical references to older display technologies and pixel counts, how we transitioned from analog to digital. He explains the jargon, he makes nice visual representations, he puts up nice effects, the whole shebang. And then he spews out a ton of information about the human vision physiology, the attributes, the capabilities, the deficiencies of our eyes. And ultimately, he concludes that 4K is pointless because human eyes cannot even achieve 4K resolution, so the additional detail you get in comparison to, let's say a 1080 display, is redundant and doesn't contribute to a substantially better viewing experience. So, I'm standing there, and receive this torrent of medical information about the anatomy of the human eye, and detailed bits and pieces about the technical aspects of the various video formats through the years, and it immediately hits me, my God, dude, all this is beside the point. You made all this elaborate effort, you spend hours upon hours researching, compiling this info, writing your script, video editing, and you missed the freaking point. It doesn't matter if in most cases you can't perceive the difference, it's not a gimmick, it's not a placebo effect, the resolution is there, the pixel count is there, the amount of detail is there. Whether or not the entertainment industry is using 4K as a gimmick, just as they did with 3D and VR and with so many other technologies, is beside the point. It doesn't matter. And it certainly doesn't negate the actual amelioration of visual fidelity compared to previous standards. It doesn't matter if a lot, or even most people declare they're just okay with DVD quality. Hell, I don't give a crap about 4K, it's completely out of my radar. I don't need it, as much as I'd like to have a pristine quantum dot, 10-bit color, HDR, 65-inch premium TV in my living room. For God's sakes, I collect laserdiscs and old CRT monitors with archaic resolutions. I don't care about 4K. I've already made tons of useless purchases of stuff that collect dust on my shelves. I don't want to add one more extravagant testament for the case of my consumerist OCD. But the issue here is not my subjective viewpoint. I don't have a workstation that would benefit from an affordable huge monitor with a vast real estate for my applications. I'm not a mechanical engineer, a CAD designer, a video professional, a professional photographer, a cinematographer, an advanced developer who would benefit from having multiple windows open in front of them, without having to resort to multiple monitors. A doctor could really tell the difference between two smudges in a digital X-ray picture, and make a crucial diagnosis depending on the visual fidelity and resolution of his medical display. An astronomer can really tell the differences in a high-resolution star chart, which will help them decide on a problem he's faced with. An art scholar or student can really study the intricacies of a piece of digitized work of art in much more detail in a high-resolution display. The detail is always there, it's not a gimmick, and it's irrelevant if your eyes are good enough to see it with or without visual aids. In conclusion, on my little diatribe over here, regarding some lows and highs, and some trends I see on YouTube, and in general the way people present their cases on social media, it becomes apparent that often, we tend to miss our point, to miss our intended target, by a long shot. Why, I even might have monumentally missed my target in this video, and I wouldn't even have realized it. Really makes you think.